welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to a very murky Dundee, where we are going to be doing a flight for my virtual airline, that's Andras Meridian Airlines, in the wonderful A2A Comanche. This is something that I don't do very often, so this is very much a training flight for me, and it's going to be fun. Let's get cracking. Well, as you can see from the inside, it's pretty dreek out there today. One of the things you'll also notice is thanks to Matey Boy here and these two happy people in the back, we are rather steamed up. Yes, if you're new to A2A, they even simulate the misting up the windows on the inside with the condensation of having hot, sweaty bodies and panting dogs. So just to try and get some clearer glass, we'll open the storm window for some ventilation. You can actually see the difference there in terms of that misting. It's one of those nice little features that A2A put in that just make it feel that bit more realistic. So we've got quite a few different things that we need to get sorted out. For a start, we need to move the Lassie band. We need to do the walk around. I want to try and keep all this as short as I can, but it is quite important that we do fit it all in. So let's open up the tablet. First of all, I'm going to just check that what we've got on. Yep, that's all absolutely fine. By the way, if you're new to the Comanche or you're thinking of getting it for the Xbox, I'll put a link to my preview video down below, and that will run through, you know, a lot of these things in a lot more detail if you're interested in seeing that. So that's looking fine. We've got the GTN selected as our GPS, and we've got that there. So I'm using the GTN 750XI today from TDS. Nice piece of kit. We're already fueled up, and I have set my FS Airlines, which is the kind of client, the monitor that my VA use to monitor what we're up to. So I've set that and loaded that up in terms of the fuel, and that is now in the boarding status. So we're all good to go there. And that will read the aircraft, that will read the fuel level from the aircraft, and it will charge us any extra fuel that we've added since the aircraft was last used. It remembers and it will add to it in the same way that the A2A Comanche will remember what fuel you had in it before, and will do so accordingly. Right, so enough of that. Let's go on to maintenance. I did a quick inspection just before, just to check that everything was tickety-boo. This is the latest build of the Comanche. If you're Xbox, this is your first build. If you're PC, this is 1.4.7, which has just been released in the same time as the Xbox release. So basically we just inspect that, and it's all green. Let's have a look at the engine. Actually in flight, that's more appropriate. We want to look at the engine there, not the engine analyzer. Have an inspection there, and everything is green there, which gives us a lovely warm fuzzy feeling, nothing to worry about. And a quick look at the electrical system. The battery is you know, not too bad, but you can see that with using it, it has gone down a bit. This I should also say the timers and everything go off the livery. So you can have lots of different Comanche liveries, and each one is a different aircraft, and that's another thing that kind of injects a bit of realism into it. So for this AMA, Andras Meridian Airlines Comanche here, you can see there's not a huge amount in there. The airframe is 13.06 hours, and the engine 10.25 hours. I'm not quite sure what I did to get a difference there, but I must have been mucking about, because I can assure you I've not blown the engine up. It's not that kind of airline, not that kind of pilot. Right, so we're going to do a walk around. Let's just quickly, I'm going to move that because that gets in the way. Just checking that the parking brake is on. Just synchronizing with my physical control here. There we go. So parking brake is now on, and I know it's on my physical controller. Just going to check my, yep, they're all working fine as well. So I'll put the master switch on and start heating up the pitot heat, which is always good to see. Just check the fuel levels here, that's fine. Okay. Right, let's go back to the checklists. So we're going to do the walk around just now, and I'll leave that as it is. Just give the pitot tube time to heat up. Sometimes if you're too long faffing about with the walk around, then the pitot tube will cool down, which may happen with the way I'm talking so far. What a waffler. Right, walk around. I'm going to turn all that off now, and hopefully that'll still be warm by the time we get there. So let's have a look outside. First position. Oh, I forgot. Let's lower the flappage, and let's have another look. So give that a good. Yep, that feels nice and sturdy. Same with the aileron, nothing feeling broken there. Have a quick look in here. I haven't got much in the tip tanks, but we should just be able to see a little bit at the bottom there. This is one of the cool things about head tracking. It's almost a little bit like VR in that you can actually duck your head in and have a look. Right, first drum of the day. Lovely, no water in that. And it's a little bit like those green supplement drinks that you can get. Aviation fuel, nothing like it. Landing light is intact and looking good. Let's have a look over here. Right, we haven't got any tie downs in. That's absolutely fine. Oh no, let's go back. There we go. No, I think this is on the next one. We will check the wing tank. This is a bit more important because this has got most of our working fuel in it. Yep, that's looking good. Happy with that. And then we'll duck down to the one underneath, and we will remove the chocks, and the tyre is looking in good condition. Second dram of the day. Now, this will be interesting. In rushing to get through this so that we can get flying, which is not what you want to hear from your pilot if you're actually a passenger, I'm not sure if I've got fuel cocks on. I want to say that the fuel cocks are probably on from the previous flight, but we're going to find out. So this is the fuel sump. There we go. Ooh. Get a grip, boy. And no water in that. And second dram of the day. Yum yum, thank you very much. Let's close all that. Get this out of the way. Get the grab. Come here. There we go. Come here. Sometimes trying to get the click spot when you are moving around with head tracking is difficult. Quick check at the front. So we've got no seagulls, puffins or albatrosses nesting in there, and the prop looks in good condition. Come around here now and we'll check the oil. They simulate the oil colour and the oil level. The darker the colour, the worse the oil is getting. That's above 9, so that's okay at the moment. It's interesting to see. I can see from when I first started that does look a little bit darker, so we can see that oil's getting used, which is a jolly good thing, because if it wasn't, we'd have a problem. Let's have a look around here. Check this wing tank. Yep, that's all good. Close that up. Come underneath, we'll remove the chock, and the wheel is in good condition there. No rats nesting in there. We'll remove the pitot cover, and okay, it's cooled down because I've been waffling so much as we go around. That should be red if I now jump into the cockpit, because we are going to check this and come back round here, and if I now grab hold of it with my hand, it's still blue, but if we give it a bit of time it will heat up. And actually also there's a little bit of a I don't know if we'll see it because this weather is so awful, but you can actually see a little bit of a heat haze coming off it. There we go. So you can see that's amber as that is warming up. I tend to turn the battery and the pitot heat off as I'm walking around just to save a bit of battery power, but maybe that's where I'm going wrong with that. So we will close that down again. Try and conserve a bit of battery. Where did we get to? We got to here. We did that. Everything's good. That landing light is fine. Not broken. Let's have a check of this tip tank. Again, we've got really very little in it, but we'll just have a quick look at that. And then third drum of the day. There we go, that's all good. Some more nutrients there. That feels fine. Flappage feels good. And that's okay. The stabilator feels absolutely wonderful. And the other static source looks okay. That's fine. We've loaded our baggage, so we don't need to worry about that, but I will just check that we have locked it. There's our baggage in there. We ain't talking emotional baggage, it's not that kind of flight. Right, we are good to go. So let's jump back in and let's go back to the checklist. So pre-flight complete, passengers briefed, you lot shut up, don't spill anything, enjoy the flight, and yeah, I don't know what you'd say to a dog on a pre-flight, except you really do need to buckle in, sunshine. Right, control locks removed. We've done that. The parking brake is set. The gear switch is down. The flaps, we can now put those back up now that we've done all our checks. Radios are off. Yeah. And autopilot master is off. Avionics master is off. All electrical switches are off. Just double check, because sometimes I leave that nav light on. What did I get to? All electrical switches are off. Circuit breakers are in. Let's have... Oh, look. Now there's interesting. There's interesting. That's what Accu-sim is all about. Our starter... yeah. Sorry. I'm getting so excited because I've got a circuit breaker popped out. Our starter circuit breaker has popped out. That's why you do a checklist, folks. That's why you do a checklist. So all circuit breakers are now in. We will stick our rotating beacon on now. I am going to be calling up ATC, but we're going to do that once the engine is started. Right, so rotating beacon is on like what I said. Engine start, so fuel desired tank. We've both got equal measures, so I'm going to yeah, we'll start with right tank. Part of me is thinking start with both, but we're going to start with right tank. I'm going to do it slightly differently to how I would normally do it. Where did we get to? Fuel selected desired tank. Mixture is rich. Throttle is cracked. Prop is fully forward. Carb heat is off. Just double check that. That looked a little bit like it was slightly on. Last flight I had in this, I did have a fair bit of carb icing. Master switch on. Fuel pump on. Check fuel pressure. There it is. Starting to come up. There we go. Got good fuel pressure. Fuel pump we can now have off. Primer, we will give 1 to 5 strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Just checking that nothing else is being silly. Nope. Right, we have mags to both. Shout out the window. Clear prop. And then we start. And this is the bit. Every start in the A2A Comanche is different. You never quite know how it's going to go, what it's going to do. It's so full of life. So we'll see what happens. There we go. Engine's a little bit ropey to start off with. Oil pressure's good. Engine's picked up now. Happy with that, and let's lean back so we don't fail the plugs. Not too far. Can have the avionics on now. Right, let's lock the primer. Avionics we've done. Check the ammeter, that's all good. Let's get everything going. So first thing I need to do is let's just bring the RPM down a little bit. There we go. We're going to do this. I'm going to exit that. I'm going to pop to my fuel payload here, and I'm going to update digital engine monitor from here. And I'll just give it a second press just for luck. Where do we get to? Right, yeah, I need to do that, don't I? So we'll go flight plan, menu, catalogue, menu,
TOS, system test OK.
And then what are we doing? We're doing EGPN. Let's find EGPN. EGPN to EGNT. That's us today. That's so good. We've got no errors in there. We've not been given any procedures at the moment, so we will just go as it is. Hopefully ATC will do that. I'm using a new build of Pilot to ATC. Sometimes it, because it's partly experimental in a way with these beta updates that I'm using, sometimes things can go a little bit awry, but it's all part of the fun. Right, transponder we'll do when we call ATC. Altimeter we're going to do let's call ATC, let's get this done, and then we know what we're doing. Right, I'm going to lock off the head tracking there. Just knocked the throttle as I did that. Right, let's have a look. Where's my Pilot to ATC window? Okay, so I'm just checking on that everything is connected up, which it is. That's all good. And our ATIS frequency is 119.32. It's already been loaded up by our friendly co-pilot by the looks of it. So let's transfer co-pilot, the dog. It's a bit quiet, isn't it?
Visibility 2 miles in light mist. 700 overcast. Temperature 5. Dew point 4. Current QNH is 984. Arriving and departing runway 09.
Tell you what we can do.
Dundee information X-ray.
I think I know what the problem is here.
Visibility 2 miles.
It's that. See how the windscreen's cleared now, by the way. Let's pop the headset on. There we go.
Current QNH
That's better.
is 984. Arriving and departing runway 09.
She said 984, so we'll get that dialed in.
Dundee information X-ray. 1050 Zulu winds are light and variable. Visibility 2 miles in light mist. 700 overcast. Temperature 5. Dew point 4. Current QNH is 984.
Yeah.
Arriving and departing runway 09.
Good, that's what we were expecting.
Dundee information X-ray.
Okay, so next frequency is tower on 122.9, which again we've already got set up here. There we go, that's all good. Okay. Dundee Tower, Meridian 234, ready to copy IFR frequent. You idiot. You idiot. Dundee Tower, Meridian 234, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Meridian 234 is cleared to Echo Golf November Tango as filed. Expect departure runway 09. Climb and maintain flight level 040. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Tower on 122.9. Squawk 4504.
Okay. Meridian 234 is cleared to Echo Golf November Tango as filed. Climb and maintain flight level 040. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Tower on 122.9. Squawk 4504.
Meridian 234 rear back correct. QNH is 984. Let us know when you're ready to taxi. QNH
is 984 Meridian 234. Okay, cool. Sorry for me talking in a robotic way, by the way, but because it's voice recognition, sometimes you have to talk in a slightly unusual manner in which the computer can understand what you're saying in it. Okay, so that's all good to go. There's my T's and P's, that's fine. We're nicely warmed up now by the time that we've been sitting around faffing about with that sort of thing. Let's just check a few things here. So I want to change the card. You really do have to keep your wits about you with the Accu-sim. Everything is simulated. It's not the kind of aeroplane you can just jump into and go. Unless you want things to go wrong. As you can see so far on this flight, we've had the starter circuit breaker was popped out, and also we had we can see that the compass card here is slightly off. Okay, that's all good. Right, quick look around. I'm going to have nav lights on now, so that's all good to go. That's fine. Right, let's just get back onto the checklist. Right, radios we've done, transponder we've done, altimeter I have set, heading indicator I have set, landing light is green, which is where we want it to be, thank God. Nav lights I've done as required. Parking brake, this is when we're going to taxi, we will release and test. So before I do that, I'm just going to do another quick check that everything is working on my VA client side. That's fine, that's showing as connected, still showing as boarding. Everything else is good. How are you doing, mate? You alright? Good, excellent. You're not going to see much today. Right. Let's move that there. Okay. Meridian 234 ready to taxi.
Meridian 234 taxi to runway 09 via taxiways Alpha, Charlie, hold short runway 09.
Taxi to runway 09 via taxiways Alpha, Charlie, hold short runway 09, Meridian 234. Now this is always a bit of an interesting one from because what we've got to do here is enter the runway, you know, before we get to a nice holding point via the threshold. Just turning the instrument lights up there, by the way. So it's getting the phraseology right for that, so that it understands it. Okie doke. Right, so on my Navigraph chart, so I'm just going to get the airplane, or rather the airport diagram up, so that's all good. Let's test the brakes. So we'll release the parking brake. Choose a button, any button. There we go. And we'll roll. And the brakes are good. That's fine. Okay, let's go. Centre my head tracking. God, this aeroplane is wonderful.
234 advise when ready for departure.
Wilco Meridian 234. Now she's done that because we've actually, the ATC AI is seeing us as being close to the runway. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to advise here, ready for departure, and then she'll give us takeoff clearance, and then we can take the runway. And at the same time, I'm going to put these on just so I remember. Actually, no. We haven't done a run-up. Okay, let's have a quick look over here. Really, we want to be pointing into wind for this, but we've not got a huge amount of room, have we? What have we got at the end? Okay, I think at the end we've got a little area that we can do our run-up in. Obviously, I should say at this point, I'm not a professional pilot. I will make mistakes. I am not comfortable with the idea of saying ready for departure, entering a runway and then doing a run-up check. I totally realise that that is the wrong order to do things in, and actually what I should be doing, and I am gonna, yeah, okay. This is messing about a bit, but I'm going to turn us round into wind. We're going to do a run-up check here. It's messy, but it's not as messy as taking the active runway. And hopefully it'll reduce the number of comments in the video saying, you don't do it that way, you do it this way. Right, so positioned into wind, we are sort of. Brakes I'm holding on to. Fuel quantity check. That is all good. Let me just lock off the head tracking here. Fuel quantity is fine. Mixture, I'm now going to put fully rich. Throttle to 2000 RPM. Engine's running smooth. Engine instruments all look okay. Happy with that. Let's do a mag check. This is where I have to be careful with rolling my mouse wheel in case I go to off. So that's right mag, all good. Back to both. Left mag, all good. Back to both. Prop cycle 3 times. Get some nice lovely oil through the prop governor. That's fine, and then we're going to reduce the RPM down to 1800 and just check that it's steady. That's me, there we go. So that's steady, that shows the prop governor is holding that nicely. So that's all good. And now we do a quick check of the carb heat. Yeah, we see that that causes a drop, so we know that's working. Right, so we can just bring that all down now. That's all good. Put the head tracking back on so I can see what I'm doing. Recenter it. Right, controls free and correct. That's all right. Can I see out the back? Yeah. Okay. Could have got the dog to do that, really, couldn't I? Could train him to do that. Door is latched. And again, we've got to be careful of this because, you know, you close it and you latch it. You can close it with it unlatched and then suddenly think, where's that draft coming from? Flaps we're not going to use. Fuel selection desired tank. I'm going to leave it on the right hand tank because it's running nicely for us. Fuel pump on. Mixture is fully rich, we've done that. Prop is fully forward. Carb heat is off. Have another look at the engine gauges. They are looking okay. We put the strobes on and we've got the landing lights on because we're about to take the runway. Quick look at the takeoff. That's fine. Lovely. And it's flight level 040, so I've got to remember not long after takeoff that I need to change that to 1013. Right, let's go. Let's get rid of you because you are kind of getting in the way there, and let's try and bring us back so we're pointing in the right direction in terms of the runway. There we go. And let's call ATC. Meridian 234 ready for departure.
Meridian 234 winds are light and variable, cleared for takeoff. Runway 09, maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then turn right heading 170 to intercept course.
Okay, so let's just plop that in there. 170. Cleared for takeoff, runway 09, maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then right to 170, Meridian 234. There we go. I've not got multiplayer on, so I can trust in the ATC. There's nothing suddenly going to appear from somewhere. And let's just backtrack down the runway. It is a horrible day, isn't it? It's definitely not a day for sightseeing on this flight down to Newcastle, but that's what the VA flying is all about for me. Some of the videos on here you see that I will set a weather preset just so we can do some sightseeing, but when I'm flying for the VA I always try and keep it real, fam. God. Just to I don't even think people say that anymore. Just to keep it realistic, and also, you know, couple that with the ATC, the live weather, and all that kind of thing. It just makes it more realistic, and that's what it's all about. So hopefully for you, this flight, although it won't be necessarily sightseeing, it's more about the experience of watching it and seeing me make mistakes and all that sort of thing. So hopefully, yeah, it's just kind of interesting. this is a good opportunity to say we have a Discord. I'll put the link down below. It's a Discord more about a love of aviation and helicopters and all that kind of good stuff, rather than a YouTube channel. So pop along, come and say hello. We do group flights. You can post screenshots. There's even a photography section now, and also we've got a model making section. So yeah, come along and say hello, and I'll see you on there. Right, let's zip it round. Oh, that's interesting. My rudder pedals have just decided to move on the floor. Stay still. Now, if I just give it a good boot with the right one, then that should hopefully, there we go. Hopefully that should settle it. Right, we're lined up. We are good to go. Quick look at everything. Yep, they're all set. That's fine. Fuel pump is on. Pitot heat I'm going to put on, because by God we're going to need it today. Something I'm also going to have to be very careful of is carb icing. But we'll have a look on that when we get airborne. Right, let's go. Let's get some power on. Something I've just realised, and let this be a lesson to you. You're probably wondering, let's gear up, probably wondering, Rob, why was that such a bloody awful takeoff? And that's because I didn't check where my elevator trim was. So there I was, let's get back on course, there I was, keeping it on the centre line, and I suddenly realised that nose wanted to come up. We'll have a look at that in a second. Yeah, I thought so. The elevator trim was in the same position as it was when I flew it last time, when I flew a landing, and as a result there was quite a bit of nose up trim. So as I was coming down the runway there, I could feel the aircraft wanting to I could feel the nose wanting to come up, so I was fighting that, which is why that wasn't exactly by the book down the centre line. Right, we can do a right turn now to 170. Keeping an eye on everything, keeping an eye on that speed. Keep the turn in. I always tend to think of flights like this as kind of sharpening the pencil. It's because I tend to do a lot of VFR flying. Doing this kind of thing is keeping you on your toes with everything else. Right, let's change the altimeter now to 1013. She said climb to flight level 040. Check the time I look at the artificial horizon and look away from the altimeter, trying to set the barometer setting, I miss it a bit. Okay, so how's everything looking? It's looking fine. Let's stick this onto altitude reporting.
Meridian 234 radar contact.
There we go.
Meridian 234 climb to flight level 070.
Climb to flight level 070, Meridian 234. lovely when we pop out the cloud. But somehow I don't think that's going to happen, although it feels like it's getting a bit lighter, which is always a nice feeling. Watching the speed there. Cylinder head 5 is getting a little bit hot, so I just need to be careful of that, and 6 now as well. Watching the speed.
Meridian 234, you are off course. Turn left heading 115 to return to course.
Heading 115, Meridian 234. Well, I was just following your instructions. I think she told me I could resume mode nav. There we go. But what I am going to do now...
234, climb and maintain flight level 070.
Climb and maintain flight level 070, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234, turn right heading 115.
Heading 115, Meridian 234. There we go. Right, let's have a quick look at the engine analyzer. Yeah, we've not really got much in the way of carb icing there, so we'll just keep this. I do find that when the aircraft is heavy like this, it's a bit of a pig to climb. Just going to lean back a little bit more. Watching the cylinder head temperature there, they're rising up again now that I've put more power on. Keeping that climb in. It's not a fighter jet, isn't that beautiful? It's so lovely when you get above cloud. You love it, don't you? Look at him, look at his little face.
Meridian 234, contact Scottish Centre on 119.87. Have a good morning.
Centre on 119.87. Take care, Meridian 234. Okay, I'm just going to...
234, this is Dundee Tower on 122.90. Please repeat your request.
This is where it starts to get interesting. Centre on 119.87. Take care, Meridian 234. Okay, that seems to have worked. No, that was the other way, wasn't it? 119.87. So the co-pilot, in this case, our friendly dog, is changing frequencies. Centre, Meridian 234, level at flight level 070. Which by the time they hear that, we will be.
234, good morning. Meridian 234, resume navigation.
Resume navigation, Meridian 234. Okay, there we go, that's nice. Now we can start to ease things out a bit. Cool our cylinder heads down. The warnings that you get there are quite good. Where it's turning red, it's kind of saying to you, oi, you need to be a little bit careful. A little bit bumpy up here. So what we can do now is use the wonderful good old vintage autopilot.
Meridian 234, expedite descent to flight level 070.
Yeah, sorry. Expedite descent to flight level 070, Meridian 234. waffling and fiddling, and I bust my altitude. Silly boy. Let's come back on the power a bit. Let's prime the autopilot, get that warmed up, ready for when we're going to use it. ATC program doesn't seem to have accepted my last call, so I'm going to repeat that. Expedite. And it'll.
Meridian 234 descend and maintain flight level 070.
Yeah, my ATC program is locked up. This happens sometimes. It's a little bit frustrating. Let's put it onto. I'm going to track the GPS now. So I'm just controlling the altitude just to bring us back down again. I'm going to get us nicely leveled off, and then I can start fiddling with other things. Just lean a little bit more. Just coming down there. Flight level 070. And now we can bring that back up and engage the alt. Some power back in. Right, that's all looking stable. Okay, let's see if we can fix this ATC issue. So it looks like it's frozen. It does do this sometimes. And what usually happens is it comes back to life later on. It almost like slows up, and then it will suddenly come back to life and chuck a load of instructions at you. So this is fine at the moment. We're in the cruise. I'm not too worried. It's not like we're in a phase where it's going to be giving us instructions left, right and centre. So we'll just see what happens. Quick look around at our T's and P's just to see that everything is okay. What I am going to do, so we've got the autopilot is telling us we need a bit of down trim. When it kind of flashes, beeps, it means it needs a little bit. When it's a solid tone and a solid light, it's saying, for crying out loud, get that handle. Right, fuel pump we should have had off above 1,000 feet, so I'm a bit late with that. We turn the landing lights off now. And let's switch tanks. So actually what I'm going to do is put the fuel pump back on. Let's have the left tank on, right tank off. Quick check. Everything's running fine, and we'll have the fuel pump back on. And he's wagging his tail. You enjoying this, aren't you, mate? Oh, we're back in the cloud again. Right, quick look over at my ATC just to see if that is coming back at all. No, that's still locked up. So we will just leave that. As I say, don't be surprised if at some point we suddenly start getting shouted at by ATC when the program unfreezes itself. I cannot wait for beyond ATC. Pilot to ATC does work pretty well, and it's my fault for using beta releases, which you never guarantee things are going to work properly. So I can only blame myself for that. But yeah, beyond ATC looks pretty cool. So how are things going down here? Everything's good. Yeah, as I say, if you're new to the Comanche or you're thinking of getting it, I will put the video to the or the link to the full video down below so you can have a look at that. But there is literally so much. All these vents, these are all working. You can see you can move those, you can change whether they're open or shut. You can have a cigarette if you want to. God, I miss those days. Don't smoke, kids, it's not good for you. We've got our engine analyzer here. You can see that we're running nice and lean on those cylinders, where it's a slightly different colour, which is to be expected. It's not quite so lean, but that's all doing nicely. Got a tiny bit of carb icing here from where we were mucking about before through the cloud. If I pull the carb heat on, you can now see that has now disappeared. That's how quickly it works, but you do have to keep an eye on that. The Comanche is very sensitive to to carb icing. Also, again, if we were on the ground and we were starting off again, you can select a brand new aeroplane, you can select a used aeroplane, so it's got a bit of wear and tear, might have a couple of things you need to look at, or you've got auction, which is potluck. Lord knows what you're going to find in the glove box, but that's something you just need to be aware of. It's persistent state, so this aircraft, as I leave it, like I found with the elevator trim, which was a very stupid error, it's persistent state, so it will be left as it was, and that's something that I should have realised, and I'm very, very naughty for doing that. I should say at this point, it's always worth, if you're one of those people that love to point out mistakes in the comments of videos and that sort of thing, it's always worth with my videos just watching to the end, because I am very much of the opinion that just because I put YouTube videos out, it doesn't mean that I think I'm an expert. You sometimes see people putting in comments, I watch these YouTubers who post videos and they do this and they do that and they make mistakes. Yeah, I'm just a flight simmer. I'm not an instructor. I have got some real world flying experience, but not a great deal. I don't have a PPL. I'm not pretending to be an expert. I'm making videos of my flight sim experiences in the hope that somehow it entertains you. That's it. It's as simple as that. So I will make mistakes, and when I say watch to the end, I'm not just trying to get better stats, although it helps. Like and subscribe and all that sort of thing. It's actually because hopefully I'll spot my mistake and I'll always point it out, and I'll always explain why it was silly to make a mistake like that. So that's what I mean by that. So engine analyzer is looking all nice. That's okay. I can't remember what I was waffling so much. I can't remember what it was I was going to look at now. Oh, this is quite handy as well. Here it will tell you. Yes, this is what I wanted to look at. This will tell you various bits and pieces. It will tell you what your nose wind component is, and it will tell you what your crosswind component is, and then it will tell you where the wind is coming from and what direction, that sort of thing. It will also give you some weather settings, so we can see that the QNH is 983, 3 statute miles visibility, outside air temperature is 27 degrees Fahrenheit, no precipitation. We can see that our passengers are actually rather cold, and this is what I wanted to show you. So what we can now do is we can pull all that on, or pull the cabin heat on. Don't need to do anything with that. Let's just get rid of that. Defroster, I had that on from before. That's fine. I can close that because we don't want any nasty heat to come in, or cold air coming in rather. That's all good. That's all done. That's all done. Okay, and let's close that a little bit, and we should start to see that come up. Unless I'm missing something else, we should start to see that come up. So I'll just leave that there, just so that we can keep an eye on it. And let's take a look. Let's take a look from the outside. Right, okay, so we're not heating up, so I've done something. Oh, cabin vent, idiots. Right, we can see now that we've got the arrow moving up. So they were getting lots of lovely fresh air, but they were freezing to death. So that's something to just keep an eye on. And again, it's lovely. It's all these things that are simulated in here that make it so real. Let's have a quick look at our close that down. Let's have a quick look at our ATC window just to see if that's come back to life. No, that is still frozen. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Not a problem if the ATC goes wrong, then we can just ignore it for the time being. But as I say, what normally happens is that after a while it kind of wakes up again and it will suddenly blurt out all the instructions that it's saved up till this point in time, and tell us what those are. But if it doesn't come back to life, that's absolutely fine. We will switch it off and we will do it all pretending that ATC doesn't exist. Quick look at the T's and P's. How are we doing? Everything's fine. I will just... No, there we go. A little bit more. Not using the digital engine monitor to do the leaning. I'm just doing it by the EGT. You can use the digital engine monitor. I do cover that in the preview video. I'm just doing it old school, just using the EGT, which is a bit silly. It's like having this equipment and then not using it. What kind of idiot does that? What do you think? Look at that face. Loving it. There's a fan of aviation right there. Okay. Just tweak the throttles ever so slightly. Everything's looking good down there. So we're just in the cruise phase now. You can't see it because of the horrible weather down there, but we're just about to... we've kind of got Edinburgh is just over there under the cloud, and we are just at the moment, if I have a... just move my maps around a bit so that I'm not looking at that. What should we have? Let's have... there we go. And select... yeah, so where are we now? Kind of a beam Dunglass, and coming up to the English coast, and we're going to hit the coast somewhere just slightly to the southwest of Fast Castle, but thanks to this lovely cloud we ain't going to see any of it. Move that, and let's have a quick check of the ATC again. No, ATC is pretty dead. Shall I just say I'll leave that. So let me know in the comments below, what are you flying at the moment? Have you got the Comanche? What do you think of it? I absolutely love it.
TARS not available.
The only problem that I have got is that for me now, it's kind of killed.
TARS available.
Thank you. It's killed all my other single engine piston aircraft. There's not another aircraft.
Calling Scottish Centre, say again with your call sign.
It's not another aircraft that I want to fly. Looks like ATC has come back. Let's just... no. ATC has gone dead again. You gotta love it. Oh dear me. I say it every time. I'm going to stop using it, but I can't help myself once I load up and fly it. Because it does add to the immersion, doesn't it? I know it's gone wrong, but it's, well, for me anyway, flying it, it definitely adds to the immersion. Yeah, no, that ATC is dead as a dodo. Funny how it just came back to life a little bit, and then it died. So I'm going to assume that the ATC isn't going to come back. Let's have a look and see what we can use. So we're going to be using runway 07. Yeah, I think we might just do it old school, you know. old school, I mean. Runway 07, so we could do, I think we should do ILS runway 07. Why the hell not? We'll probably need it on a day like today. So let's go into here. Get it right. Procedures, approach, and we're going to do ILS 07. And then we'll load that. Yes. So glad we're above the cloud. Much nicer. So what do we need to be? So we're going to have to be 3,500 feet or higher when we actually cross above Newcastle Airport itself, and that is feet, not flight level. That's absolutely fine. We've got plenty of time before we need to do that, and you never know, the ATC might come back to life. Who knows? Something to point out, actually, if you're watching this and you're wondering why on the outside shots the aircraft is bumping up and down. So A2A use an external flight model. It's one of the reasons why it's just so blooming good. The problem is that, and you only really see it in the external view, is that where the sim drops slightly, it's not like a connection on the internet or anything like that, but where it's kind of, you've got a kind of a micro stutter, then you see that connect between the flight model and the sim. As we're flying along like this, you're not seeing it, but you'll only really see it so much from the outside, where you'll see those kind of very slight, kind of almost like the aircraft, it just bounces slightly. Some of that, when you see it, will be turbulence, but I'm just pointing that out in case you get it, and you've got to, maybe it's to do with the fact that my processor isn't lightning fast, I don't know. But if you see that, don't worry, it's not that there's something wrong with your sim, it's just that because it's using this external flight model, that's what makes the difference. And hell, I will live with a few bumps like that for this external flight model. It is absolutely gorgeous. Quick check of the ATC there. ATC is still dead. I can see it every now and again. It does change what it's doing. It's changed. I can see that it's monitoring the route, or it's made a change in what it can see we're doing on the route. So there's obviously some life still left in it, but not a huge amount at the moment. It's very much not responding to any kind of inputs on the menu or anything like that, but we'll see. As I say, we'll see. So while we're in the cruise like this, there's not a lot to do for a short time. There's not a lot to do in terms of looking at the scenery, so I will come back to you when we get closer to some action. Okay, interesting. ATC's come back to life. Let's give this a try. Approach on 124.37 meridian 234. And in doing that, the ATC's locked up again. Damn you! Okay, let's try it now. No. Yeah, it's gone. It woke up for a moment and now it's locked up again. Anyway, why don't we call up and get the ATIS at Newcastle and see how that is looking. So what are we looking for? 118.38. Not very nice. Not very nice at all. So it's going to be 983. Must remember that. That's the ATC. Oh. It's not the ATC. Right, no. It's not. No. It's still locking up. Just press the press to talk button and it's gone and locked it off again. Look at that, we got land, we've got ground, we can see it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. How's everything else? Fuel's good. T's and P's are good. Let's have a quick check on the passengers and see what their temperature setting is. They are still a little bit cold. Let's have a look over here. I've still got the cabin heat on. I don't think we've got any vents open. That's all closed. Just double check that. I opened it a bit then. There we go. So 42.4 is not particularly warm, but I can't see any other reason why it should be cold. So I'm just going to close that again and open it. So we're just maintaining that temperature at the moment. So basically that's the amount of heat that the engine can put out at this point in time. If I close the cabin heat, you can see the temperature starts dropping. So I've got that on full whack at the moment. So that's okay. It's now heating up a little bit more. I think that's because I had messed about with it. But there we go, it's stopped off at 41.4. So let's close that. Let's just check the ATC window again. Yeah, still locked off. So I think at this point what I'm going to do is shall I just leave it there? Let's leave it there just in case it comes back. I've had it before where literally it's almost like when we actually start, when you make a turn or when you're close to the airport, suddenly it'll come back to life. So I'm just going to leave it. What I don't want to do is get so close to the airport and then it gives us a procedure and we're obviously way off course to be able to do that. So let's just see what it does. I need to just double check the ATS again. ATIS rather. We lost that. What is going on with the radios? Oh, I think it's the... I know what it is. It's the ATC program. It's fiddling with them. Yeah, it's fiddling with them. Does that mean it's come back to life? No. So I'm going to close ATC because it's now conflicting with the aircraft. We are going to do this in a safe and orderly manner, so bear with me. You can go. Yes, I want to exit pilot to ATC. I've had enough. There we go. We've now got control back of our aircraft. 118. Was it 118? Come here. Let's lock off the head tracking. That would make life easier, won't it? 118. While I'm doing that, you notice the aircraft is going to try and follow the GPS route now. Because this is an old school autopilot, it's not pin sharp in the way that modern autopilot would be, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. What was it? 11838. Was it? 11838. Stand by. Got radio 2 set. I know why that's not working, because I've turned off the... That's interesting. So the ATIS was coming via the ATC program, so that part of it was still working, but because I've closed it, that's now gone, so that isn't going to work. And I don't use ATC in the flight sim, so let's just watch the trim. I don't use ATC in the flight sim, so or ATC from a Sobo, as it were, so we're not going to get it from that. So let's have a look at my Navigraph charts, and the QNH is 983, so let's pop that in the box now. Take off altitude hold, and let's pull back on the power and let's start a descent. So as you can see, it's struggling to it's struggled a little bit to control that tightly, but it is going to intercept again. Sometimes you either take it off autopilot and manually fly it around, or you can use heading select just to ease that corner there, so that the old school autopilot isn't struggling to keep on with it. So we're going to come down, descend to 3,500 feet. Just coming back on the power, just so that we can control the descent. Too far at all now. As you can see, it's giving an ETA to destination 16 minutes, although it's going to be slightly longer than that because we're obviously flying procedures and faffing about a bit. That height, I'm pulling back the power, and then of course it picks up speed, so then the nose rises again. Quick check of the compass card. This is interesting. So the compass card is actually off by quite a bit now, so we've had some drift there. Let's move that back. Pop that back out again. And so the heading once we get over the airfield is going to be, looking at my chart, 066. So I'm just going to dial that in. There we go, we're still in the descent. Don't need to descend too fast, we've got plenty of time. So I'm using power to descend rather than anything else. Got the autopilot keeping us on course. It's come round now and nicely intercepted that magic magenta line again. It's going to increase or enriching the mix just a little bit as we're descending. These P's are looking good. At this point I'm going to switch fuel tanks. So let's have fuel pump on. And check. All is good. So fuel pump off. And all is good. That's working. Just about to hit the cloud. Are you excited? We're going to hit the cloud, mate. Are you looking out for bones? I do miss not having a dog. I do miss having a dog, rather. Grew up with dogs. We've got a cat now, co-pilot cat. She's alright. She enjoys flying, or she enjoys watching me flying, but don't tell her I said this, but dogs are better. Yeah, she's not looking. How are we doing in the back, you two? You alright? Yes, they're thrilled to bits. I love the Comanche. There's so much to it. There really is. There is so much to it. Look at this. Noise cancelling. That's so cool. I love those little touches. Yeah, it's an aeroplane that really has a lot of life in it, without a doubt. It's great for, as you can see, it's fully IFR. Hasn't got much in the way of anti-icing though. That's the only thing to be wary of. We don't. You've got to be careful where you take it. But for doing this kind of thing, it's absolutely wonderful. Bags of fun. Good God, look at that! I've been so busy talking to you and enjoying myself. I've busted my altitude. What a plonker! ATC is switched off. Let me say, Meridian 234, you are very, very naughty boy. Gets us nicely above the cloud again as well, which is quite good. That's the thing about making videos. You're thinking about the video, you're thinking about what you're saying, you get lost on a train of thought because you start waffling, and then before you know it, you're busting your altitude like a complete and utter amateur. Let's gauge the altitude hold. That's nice, just skimming along the top of the clouds. getting as much sunshine as we can before we disappear down into the murky depths below. That's alright. What did they say? QNH is 983. That's fine, so that's all set up. So, have we got everything set up? Yes, we've changed the fuel tank. We are on the right hand tank, which has got more fuel in it. We have got the Q and H set up, so that's all good. I have corrected the compass card because that was being a little bit dodgy. So that is still, actually, that's still needs a little bit of correction. There we go. There we are. Engine's running nicely. Around with the mixture a little bit there. So 3,500 feet on the QNH, and we are going to be coming overhead. Once we're overhead, we're going to turn onto a heading of what did I say, 066. Does that have that there? That has that there because you're looking at it the wrong way, aren't you? You are looking at it the wrong way. We want a heading of 255. You plonker. 25. There we go. Let's think about it logically. So there we go, that gives our heading. So what I'm going to do is when we get overhead the airfield, I'll put it into heading mode. Or actually just before we're overhead the airfield, I'll put it into heading mode. And then that gives us a nice turn onto the correct heading. And we're going to stay at 3,500 feet for a short time. And then we'll be coming down to 2,200 feet. Really is alive in this aircraft. Ah, unbelievable. That was not what we wanted. Right, let's get back to the flying. Put it onto heading mode. Good. So we'll stay on this heading now. I'm just watching what it's doing, just checking for anything going wrong. Doing this kind of flying, because it's not something I do very often, this is what I was talking about before about sharpening the pencil. It is just keeping an eye on everything that's going on. You guys that do this all the time, you can do this in your sleep, I know. But for me, it's something that I don't do very often. I should do it more. I'm actually very remiss in the amount of VA, IFR, ATC, full works kind of flying that I'm doing. And it's something that I should be ashamed of and need to work on. ahead now. Let's get the checklist. See where we are. Approach, autopilot, we'll do that in a second. Design tank is fine. Yeah, okay. Oh, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Why the hell not? So, autopilot. Disconnect. I'm going to turn that off there. Fuel pump we will have on. That's fine. We've got the desired tank. Just trying to keep an eye on things there. Mixture will go fully rich. Prop fully forward. Carb heat we're not going to use. We need to come back on the speed a little bit, and then we'll do everything else as and when. Okay, let's now have the landing lights on as well. And we are now going to descend. That's 2,200. We are also going to get the correct frequency, so it's 114.125. 11425. This is something I could have set up earlier on. There we go. I'm going to put that onto there. Wrong frequency in. It's actually that's actually the VOR, so we want 11. It's amazing how by not using the charts very much, you kind of completely lose touch with. My eyes are looking at what I'm doing on the screen, flying the aeroplane, and then I'm also looking around at other things and quickly losing touch. So we're a bit too high. I'm coming back on the throttle now. Let's descend, and then we also need to be doing our turn. Looking at the chart, so I'm looking at my Navigraph chart rather than the GTN there. Let's watch that we don't descend too much. 2,200. Nice to get below the clouds. Right, let's arrest the descent there. Keep the power back a bit because we do need to bleed off. Trim the aircraft. Trim is your friend. There we go. I guess because this chart is a procedure for an airliner, we're turn a bit tighter than they can. Let's watch that. That altitude there. Let's climb a bit. Wait to get below clouds. Make life a bit easier. So let's have a quick look. So we need to be above 2,200 at that point, so we'll just maintain where we are for now. the speed a little bit. Drifting off course slightly. Back on this power. Can slow up. Going, overcorrected there, so we now need to come back again. Tell you I wasn't an expert. I watched a YouTube video the other day and he didn't even know how to do an ILS IFR approach. Right, now we can start our descent. Going to use the ILS to give us our cues now. Back on the power a little bit more. I'm way off course there. Gear down. Using the ILS instrument. The ILS cues on the HSI. Over to the right. See, you can't see this, but my body was actually leaning to the right then. A touch of flat. God, I can't wait to see the ground. Really cannot wait to see the ground. Low now. Let's come back up. Concentrate on flying the aeroplane, checking everything. We've dropped a bit too much height there. So many things to keep an eye on and watch and think of. I think I will cry with joy when I see the ground. See, we'd keep overshooting the localizer in an awful way. Backwards and forwards.
500.
Should hopefully see the ground soon because this is very close. Is that it? Yep, that's it. Wow. Wow. Quite a bit off then. Trim, trim, trim. The VA program, the FS Airlines client giving us the round of applause there. That's not something I've set up. Let's have the flap up. off here. And over here is we did a group flight from here not that long ago in Spitz, and we came from this point over here, which was rather good fun. Right, let's have the landing lights and the strobe lights. So yeah, all in all, that was a giving myself a "you're a very naughty boy" debrief. That was a very sloppy ILS approach there. If I'm sharpening the pencil, then that's something that I need to, I definitely need to keep an eye on. Practice that more often, and not make such a hash of it. But it was interesting. It was good practice anyway. Definitely good practice. Flights like this always give me an idea of what I need to work on, and doing you know, IFR approaches like that is obviously something that I very much need to work on. So we're going to leave our private paying passengers here. I hope they've had a good flight. Our little friendly dog seems to be still quite happy. Okay, so let's have the parking brake on. Let's pop the old checklist out again. So we've done the landing. After landing, flaps are up. We've done that. Strobes are off. Fuel pump we can have off now. Mixture, we should have leaned that for ground operations. And trim neutral. There we go. So that is now neutral. And then we won't have any problems next time like we did this time. Shutdown, parking brake set. Done that. Radios off. There we go. And transponder is all off. Avionics master I've done is off. Master switch is hang on a minute. Okay, master switch off, throttle closed, mixture idle cut off, magnetos off. There we go. Control wheel, we'll do that in a second, and all that is good, and everything is in there. Brilliant. Right, I hope you've enjoyed the flight. ATC did go a bit wonky, and that was definitely a challenging landing for me. I know there will be people out there saying, I can do that in my sleep. Well, I can't, so I hope you found that entertaining. Anyway, great to have you along, and I look forward to seeing you on the channel again very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.